Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kim Canas, owner of the blog Life with Real Estate, and I'm so excited. I'm here today with these fabulous ladies. Today, this vlog is all about mamas inspiring mamas.
Yes.
I started in the mortgage industry when I was just 19 years old, and at that time I was putting myself through college. I started my first business, an import business. I was in my element. I was felt like I was on top of the world. And then my next phase of life came. I became a mom. And I look back and I think, wow, I went to school full time. I ran a business full time. I worked full time in the corporate world. And now I can't even find time to take a shower. Oh my gosh. I never imagined that in my life, my biggest struggle would be balancing being a career woman and being a mom. After what I thought I was successful and accomplished, I thought, I got this in the bag. Boy, was I in for a reality check. So I'm hoping that today you will find inspiration, be able to let go of the shameful mom stigma that comes, especially with social media, and aspire. Learn to let go of the mom guilt. So thank you so much. I'm here today with Melissa Mylander. She is the owner of her own State Farm insurance agency, a wife, and a mom of two. She just had a baby that just turned a year. So she built her own business doing all of this.
Nice.
I'm here with the wonderful Valerie Cruz. She is one of the top realtors for her real estate group, One West Realty. She was able to achieve this by being a wife and a mom of three.
One of those stress.
They say one is having one and two is having 20. I don't even know what three's like.
Exactly. And she does this, and I have to mention, they're all under the age of 5. 5.
4, 3, and 1.5. So
Yeah. So we're here today to hopefully try to dispel some of the mom myths that are so prevalent in today's society. And again, hopefully to give you some inspiration to do what you dream. It is possible. I know for me, I loved looking at podcasts and video blogs of other entrepreneurs that were successful in their own right. And one thing for me that I always found was missing was the mom aspect. You know, you hear about the people, oh, I hustled, and when I was in the corporate world,
12-hour days.
Exactly.
And
I
what about when you get home? You still got to cook and change diapers.
Exactly. I bartended at night, but what about the mom aspect of the whole thing? It's really, I won't say easy, because I've been there. It's not easy, but it's a very different life when you're only responsible for yourself.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It's a complete different life when you're responsible for other lives. So, thinking of career, I'd like for you guys to share, what was the biggest obstacle? When you were, getting out there, we'll start with you, Valerie, hustling to get those leads, to make deals in the real estate world with 3 little children. What was your biggest obstacle?
Well, my biggest obstacle was separating my work life and my business life. And it wasn't just drawing the line of when I get home at 7:30, no more business. It was also between my work hours, making sure that I dedicated it to working. So completely drawing the line between, honey, I'm sorry I can't take your call because I'm working. I'd love to hear how you are doing with the kids, but I need to focus so that at 7:30 I hang up the phone and I'm done with business, and I'm just focused on my kids, getting them ready, serving dinner, and just being present at home.
Mhm.
That was my
That's
biggest
a good
obstacle.
That's exactly what I was just going to say, because in my first year of business, it was chaotic, and to say the least. Yeah, and I opened, I have a location and 3 employees, and so I'm responsible for my kids, but I'm also responsible for the livelihoods of 3 other people, and trying to juggle that responsibility of making sure I'm giving my all in every area of my life is and then what happens is if you don't take a break, you do freak out, shut down, I think I opened in January, by July, I think I had my first boo-hoo crying breakdown, what did I sign up for? I can't do this. I called my mom in my bathroom crying for an hour. My mom was right up the street too. She's like, I'll come down. Okay. And I'm like, no, I just think I could, it was horrible, but I had to get to that point to say, I had to figure out a fair juggle between my mental health, my kids, my home, and my business. And, and I think you have to get to that point of breaking to realize, I'm not Superwoman. I can't do it all. I have to find a balance.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That is hard. And speaking about that, I think in today's society, women are made to feel they have to be the superwoman.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the perfect home, the perfect kids, the perfect life, and that's not reality.
Not at all.
So I think embracing, for me, my obstacle was learning to embrace that it's okay to not be okay.
Embrace the crazy.
Exactly.
It's okay.
Embrace it. Yeah. To not feel guilty and, having that mom guilt. I don't know about you guys. For me, mom guilt was real.
Oh, yeah.
As you mentioned, that balance of trying to separate work from your family life. For me, I felt an intense amount of mom guilt, especially when my baby was a newborn, thinking this is my time to breastfeed her, and I'm sticking her in a room because I have to take this client's phone call.
Yeah.
It was devastating to me, and it was so hard to get over that feeling. How am I being selfish? Am I being selfish for wanting to have a career and not dedicating my life to these babies that I chose to have?
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think, I don't think it's selfish. I think it's hard because we're just equipped to love that hard for our kids.
Yeah.
But I think when I got to, when I was getting ready to open my business, I had to travel every other week. I was gone for 6 months in training, leaving my daughter, who was 5 at the time, in kindergarten with my husband, and I had phone calls and Skypes every other week for 6 months. That's a long time where you only see your family 5 days. Okay, gotta go again, but when I did have those moments of that guilt, it's I'm doing this so that I can give her everything in life that she deserves.
Yeah.
You gotta stop and think
Exactly.
that sometimes too, is that, it's for a greater purpose. And if you just let yourself crumble in that moment, you're gonna crumble,
Yeah.
You gotta look ahead.
Yeah.
What has been your biggest mom guilt so far?
For me, it would be deciding to drop off my kids at a babysitter. Because then it's you can't take care of your own kids. You have to have somebody else take care of them. Or when the babysitter says, oh, she said this today, or she did this, and I'm like, I missed that.
I miss it first.
I missed that, and it's my last baby.
Yeah.
But I'm out here working so that she doesn't have a difficult life when she graduates high school. She's able to go to the colleges she's wanting to go to, or she's not going to struggle as much as we did to save to buy a home.
Yeah.
That's the goal, the ultimate goal that I foresee happening.
That is a big one. I know for me, the dropping off at daycare killed me, especially for my children. They cried.
Yeah.
I mean, literally boo-hooed with the crocodile tears, looking
that
at me
way worse.
Mommy, why are you doing this to me? I mean, I have to tell a story. My daughter was months old, and we had just got a brand new SUV. I was so stressed out. This was the first time that she was going to daycare, and she was crying to the point she was vomiting.
Oh,
and
wow.
she started to choke on her vomit.
Wow.
Oh.
So I immediately undo her car seat. I was in my seatbelt. I take my seatbelt off and I jump back, and then I have to change her clothes. Now I'm running late.
Yeah.
Get her back in the car, get in my seat, put my seatbelt on, hit reverse. The step that I missed was opening my garage door.
Oh no.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I don't think we had our car for 30 days.
It's a battle scar. It's a mom battle scar on the car,
I mean, the struggle is real,
Yeah.
It is that difficulty of taking your kids to daycare. It's something that when you say it's like no big deal. I mean, many parents have to do it.
Yeah.
But there is a psychological aspect
Oh, yeah.
that goes into it, not just for the kids, but for mothers.
Yeah.
It does come with a tremendous amount of mom guilt. It
Yeah.
really, truly does. What would be the realest piece of advice that you guys can give to other mamas that are wanting to embark on careers that are dealing with the same obstacles that we just talked about?
My biggest, realest piece of advice would be know who your village is.
That's a good one.
Because let me tell you, I didn't do it alone, and I couldn't do it alone.
Yeah.
You have to go into it with support.
That is,
You have to know your village, and you have to have the people around you, whether it's friends you can rely on, a spouse, family members. Not everyone has their parents close by. Not everyone has their siblings or friends. I mean, everyone has a different situation, but you need to go into it knowing who your village is and make sure that they understand, like, I'm going to be embarking on this. Are you here to help, when I need you? And
that's a good one.
know your village.
That's a good one.
What would you say yours is?
For me, I would tell somebody who's trying to start their own career, it's possible to do well in your career and at the same time be a good mother.
Oh, that's good.
Because I was beaten down told you cannot dedicate yourself to your work part-time and be successful. And it's like, no, you can be successful and work 40 plus hours, 40 plus realistically, and still be a good mother. You can.
Yeah.
It is possible.
Yes, you can. Mm-hmm.
That's excellent advice, because I think for me that was my biggest struggle.
It
Was
mine.
starting off wanting to do things part-time, and I had to realize if I really want to be in this, I really want to be dedicated and be successful in my career, I can't just give 25% or even 50%
Yeah.
or even 75%. If it's kind of, especially in the businesses that we're in, they're basically entrepreneurial businesses. You get out what you put in.
Exactly.
So if you only want to put in 25-50%, don't expect to get 100%.
Exactly.
You're going to
So-
feel like you're failing
Exactly.
in your business, and then you're
Exactly.
going to take it out on your family thinking I can't be successful because of you, but it's not true. You can work 40 plus hours and still be a good parent.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
But I love what you said too about the village, because for me that was another one of my obstacles, was asking for help. That was hard for me. Unfortunately, I don't have my mom with me. My mom passed away, but relying on I call them family, family friends,
Yeah.
I would feel guilty.
Yeah.
I don't want to bother people. They have their own lives. They're doing their thing. I don't want to inconvenience anybody. So I'll work it out. I'll take my baby to work with me, or do what I have to do.
But then you find that you're distracted.
Oh yeah.
And it makes what you're trying to accomplish even harder,
Yeah.
because you're putting more on your plate than what you
Yeah.
realistically can handle, even though in your mind you're like, I got this,
I could do it.
I could
take
do
my
it.
3 kids to show
And so that's why it was just important for me opening up. Like I had the buy-in of my family that was going to be there to help. So because I worked a lot of late nights, a lot of Saturdays, even Sundays,
Wow.
so I had to have the family support there. And of course, mainly my husband, my husband, it was, when I was getting ready to open the business, someone in leadership took us out to dinner and was completely real. And he said, look, the first year divorce ratio for new State Farm agents is like 50%.
Oh wow.
Because of the amount of dedication you have to get. You can't go in 40%. You got to go in like 400%.
Yeah.
And your family is unfortunately going to take the back seat, and you're going to go through guilt. It's going to be a struggle. but you have to be united in this front,
Yeah.
you know, and you have to understand and be there for each other. And so putting the marriage first and really talking that through and having someone be honest with us, like, it's not easy,
Yeah.
was really helpful to go in wide, you know, eyes wide open.
I think that's so important too when you're talking about your village, but also is having those kind of people in your circle that can be honest with you. That is so important to not just have the people that tell you what you want to hear.
Oh, life is so great. You know, like it's an Instagram or something like, no, my hair is not always done like this. You know what I mean? Like, this is the 2 times out of the year. You know? Like,
exactly. Exactly, yes. Someone that can actually be honest with you, tell you the critiques.
Yes.
The critiques.
What to look forward to.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's important.
Yes.
Well, what would be one way that you could describe motherhood, just in one word?
Well, for me now that I've kind of gotten a hold of things, I would say joy.
Oh, that's good.
I would say joy.
See, I was going to say exhausting.
I'm going for interesting.
Yeah.
Never
no,
a dull
it is.
moment, you know?
It is.
Interesting is definitely, motherhood is interesting.
That's a good one too.
Yeah. You never know what to expect.
Yeah. What's gonna be stuck in a hole somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It is interesting.
one thing you had mentioned was the support, like your husband backing you, your parents backing you. When it comes to your success, who or what do you think you can attribute your success to?
Me personally, my faith.
Awesome.
Yeah, my faith. Because, if it wasn't for being able to rely on the blessings, the support, and the knowledge, knowing that, like, Jesus put me here for a reason, you know, and he will never bring you to anything that he can't walk you through.
Yes.
And so for me, I had to keep God first in those times, that the good times and the bad. I had to praise him when it was going good, when it was going bad, when we were struggling, when great days, you know, keeping him first. I attribute that 100%.
And that's a great testimony to say, I prayed and praised him even when things were bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was lots of times me and God spoke, you know.
I can't do this, Jesus, help me,
You know,
That's so
please
funny.
let tomorrow be better, you know. But thank you so much for my business, though. Thank you, you know.
I talk to God often, like 24/7. Yeah.
Yeah.
My kids probably think I just regularly talk to myself, but yes, I'm talking to
Yeah.
Jesus.
All day, every day.
So, what would you say, or who attributed to your success?
Well, definitely God. In times where I just said, that's it. As soon as this transaction's over, I'm hanging my license. I'm quitting. This is it. I can't do this. This is so stressful. I can't sleep. It's affecting my marriage. It's affecting me as a mom. And it just was like, no, you're going to keep doing this. You're going to close this transaction because people need a home, and this is what I put you in here to do. And secondly, my husband, because days that I want to quit and I'm just like, God, you know, I'm just leaving it at the floor for you to take. I'm not doing this anymore. He was just like, this is what you wanted to do. You know, whatever you need, I'm here to help you. And it's like, wow, you know, you put this person in my life for a reason. Your plan is much bigger.
That can handle me.
Yeah.
Someone who can handle. That's what I tell my husband. Like,
Yeah.
how do you handle me?
Because when I'm
Yeah.
stressed out, of course he feels it.
Of course.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
snipping at him and telling him, you're doing this all wrong. And you need and I need your help more. And he's just 100% there for me, which I
That's
need.
when my husband's like, let me pop you a beer.
Yeah. Here's 2 bottles of wine. Drink them.
Yeah.
That's
Go outside.
Taking the
for
kids
just a
out
couple
for a
minutes,
walk.
yeah.
And I expect those gone when I come back. Okay.
Keeping it real, you know.
I have to agree with you guys. And we all have those moments, especially when you said like the breaking down, the snapping. That I will say is another one of my mom guilt moments. Is you know, and feeling like this career that I'm trying to embark on is taking a toll on my marriage and how I'm treating even my spouse, you know, my husband. That has been a guilt, like maybe I'm, you know, not ready for this, you know. And sometimes I'll start to get negative, like you know, maybe it's just not my time right now. Maybe I need to wait till my kids are older, to where they're a little bit more self-sufficient and
they don't want you there.
exactly. And you know, daddy doesn't have to pick up so much of the slack that I'm leaving to him because I'm trying to do this. So you know, those are all great points, because those are some of the challenges that us as mamas have to deal
You
with.
gotta have a strong partnership there for sure.
Well, we talked about those obstacles a lot. What motivates you guys to actually embark on your career on a daily basis, get out of bed, not put on yoga pants, and actually try to get up and succeed in your career? What motivates you?
So for me, I don't get up every day thinking I'm going to go kick ass. I don't. I just realistically, there's days where I just want to stay in bed and wish the kids could make themselves their breakfast. But I do have a giant goal board that my husband and I worked on last year in October. And half of it has images of what we want to accomplish by the end of 2018. And the other half is like step by step what I need to do in real estate to get where I need to be. And then I have like postmarks where I'm marking off how many transactions I've done for the year so far and what that means for our family. So when days where I don't feel like it, by the time I'm getting dressed for the day, I see that. I force myself to see it. It's there in plain sight. And it's like, I got to do it. I have to do it for that reason.
So you have like a vision board.
Exactly. And in big letters it says, I'm going to make you proud.
Aww.
And it's note to self. And it's like, okay, I can't disappoint myself because then I'm going to disappoint everybody under me.
I love that. I love that too. And I love that you said, I don't want to disappoint myself.
Yeah.
I think so much, even, going back to the whole mom stigmas, it's all about pleasing other people.
Oh, yeah.
Pleasing our husbands, pleasing our children, pleasing our bosses, managers, companies, whatever the case may be. But you matter.
Yeah.
You matter.
Yeah.
So that's great that you are saying, I want to do this for me too,
Yeah.
not just for other people. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
Okay.
What about you?
I have several motivations, and for me, my situation's a little different. My husband is 9 years older than I am, and so I kind of jumped onto a career path really young. 19 is when I got with State Farm, and I'd already been with him only a year, but I knew like, oh, this guy's got me. I'm going to be with him forever.
Nice.
And so since 19, I've kind of strategically planned my life to where I can retire when he retires.
That's awesome.
And which means that I have to hustle day in and day out to make sure that I can retire at 55 when he's 64, because if he has to wait till he's 74 and I'm 65, it's going to be like, let's get your wheelchair. And, not really, but you know what I mean? Like, can't leave the house without 18 medications. I didn't want to wait until we were that old, So for me, my motivation is really the future. And I know that that's probably kind of unique. A lot of people really live in the day and day. But, I think about being able to go on vacation with my kids and buying them their first car, and me and my husband retiring. When we retire, we want to do a world cruise.
Nice.
And it's like the only way to get to that step is to wake up every morning and do what I have to do, and do it to the fullest extent of my ability. And there are some days that I don't get up. I get the kids to school and I come right back home with Del Taco on the way. There are, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's
No,
okay.
it's okay.
Because you have to sometimes let yourself just be human and say, oh, you know what? And listen to your body and your mind and say, I need today. But tomorrow doesn't mean I take tomorrow too. Tomorrow I'm right back on it. For that future purpose. So,
I love that. I love everything that you guys are saying, because mental health for individuals is so important.
Oh, yeah.
And so being able to say, I'm taking time for me today, that helps.
There's nothing
for
wrong
you to
with
be
that.
successful.
No,
It
yeah.
should-
No, you need it.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm literally just now learning that within the last couple months. Me and my husband have not been on a date since 2014.
Kim.
Yes. 2014.
What?
I'm not kidding.
Well,
My last mani-pedi, I finally got one in February. Before that was a year prior.
Yeah.
So I'm totally learning that if I want to be successful, I have to worry about me, because I go and I go and I go to the point where I'm not successful. I'm not to the best.
Well, your mind burns out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm mentally exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I'm not working to the best of my ability, because I have not given myself time to have mental clarity, to have rest, to actually take care of me and my needs.
One thing that in my first year of business, I went to this seminar. It was like a big rally that State Farm had done, and they had this motivational speaker come in and talk to everyone. And you know, motivational speakers are awesome. You feel great for that day, and then sometimes it rolls into the next day, and then you're kind of right back to where you were.
Yeah.
But I always try to take at least one thing that I can like really hold on to. And the one thing he said that burned in my brain is, why do you think they call it recreational activities? Because it's time for you to recreate your mind. So if you don't take a time out and do those recreational things you like to do, you're not going to have a mental break, and you're not going to recreate. You know, so you need to take the time. You need to take the week once a year. You need to go on a date once a month to not think about anything but just that moment. And then that way, the next day you can wake up and you're fresh. You know? So I was like, what a great reason to plan a vacation. Let's book it. You know what I mean? And I did. And we went to Mexico for a week.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. And we went over spring break. And it's funny because when we got back, we were in the car coming from LAX, 2.5 hours in traffic with the 2 kids. And then I looked at my husband and I said, you know what? I did not realize that the entire time we were gone, I didn't think about my office, my business, one time.
That's
and normally it never shuts off.
Yeah.
You know, when you have your
Late
name on a
at
door, you know, it's a big responsibility. And I said, I did not think about it once. Like, I didn't think about it.
Really? You didn't call your office
Nope.
and check in?
6 days straight.
Really?
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I was very. And what's funny is it took me to, on our way home in traffic, to realize I didn't think about work once. Like,
That's
I haven't
That's
gone.
nice.
I don't think that's ever happened. You know what I mean? Like, but it was amazing once I realized, like, whoa, I really did just relax. Like, I didn't think about it once.
I said, when I think about it, even God rested on the 7th day.
Thank you, amen. That's what I was. Thank you. Like,
And I am not,
reason,
I am
you
not
know?
God. So.
Yeah, you know.
So I really thank you guys for being honest, because again, we talk about the obstacles, and that's one of the challenges, is feeling so like subpar to other women. You look at other women
And the
and you
expectations
see-
that society sets.
Exactly.
And the expectations that you see on social media.
That everything's
Yeah.
perfect.
That is
Yeah.
the biggest thing, because when you get on Instagram, you get on Facebook, I will admit, for me, especially after my second, I felt like giving up. That was at my
All
moment.
anyone posts is their perfect
Yes.
moments.
Yeah.
I felt like I was the biggest failure. I felt like my body doesn't look like that. My career is not that successful. My kids are so misbehaved. I don't have that baby that sleeps through the night like all these other moms. Like, I sleep trained. Maybe 12 hours a
trained.
day.
I know, but I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
And you get online, and it's unfortunate. I have to admit, I started to compare my life, and that's such a dangerous thing, because I had to realize it wasn't really real.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
That was my biggest thing, is I had to, one, you shouldn't compare yourself to anyone else, period. God made us all unique for a reason, you know, but I had to realize, you know, is their house really that perfectly kept? Does
Don't
their
go in my
husband-
garage. Ladies, don't go, because that's where 80% of all of our clothes are right now in a pile. You know what I mean? I called my husband and told him, the house has the illusion of clean today. And he was like, that's good. That's better than nothing at all. I'm like, exactly. That's the
I like
illusion
the
of spotless. Yes.
At this point, my house doesn't even have the illusion of clean. It's like the.
And it took me an hour to get it to the illusional clean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Someone had to go back and forth.
Seriously, that was the hardest thing for me, is
Realizing
realizing
it's not real.
Exactly.
That's not real life.
I think that helped me to overcome, to say, you know what? One, my thing is, I'm going to stop giving excuses. You know, having kids is not an excuse. You know, it's just my life. But it helped me also to feel that I could be accomplished, and not being perfect right then and of itself. All these things that I'm complaining about, being a mom, being a wife, those were accomplishments.
Oh, yeah.
Those were things that were actually bragging rights within itself. I'm complaining about how messy my house is, but we have a house.
Yeah, you have a house.
I am a
You
homeowner.
have
That's a
beautiful little
blessing.
kids that are messing it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one of my biggest things too is my kids are able.
Mhm.
They're creating this catastrophe,
Because
but
they're running around
exactly,
healthy.
they're healthy. So I had to really change my perspective of things. And that's really what helped me to say, I'm okay. I'm not going to give up. This is normal.
Yeah.
I'm normal.
You are. Yes, you are.